Hello, friends. Oh, man, I was just thinking about a lot of your faces before I started, and it really made me so happy. And it's good to see y'all. I thought I would not wear a hat because I'm so tired of them, and I have a little bit of hair. And in a week, I won't have my hair again. So it's going to be a long time without hair again. Anyway, so here I am. I thought I would give an update because we're at a very significant juncture. I've been writing a couple of updates this week on Caring Bridge. If you're not connected to that and you'd like to, sometimes I don't do videos. Either Craig or I will update on in writing. And so that is on caringbridge.org, and you can search In Jamie's Corner or Jamie Van Bibber, I believe, too. So I might post a couple of pictures today, too. So we had an amazing week. Gosh, when I say that, I'm encouraged because it's just so good to remember that each day my mind just goes into like, oh, it's such a challenge, a mental battle for me to it's like I know in my head that God is with us and he is for us, but my brain just has these flitting thoughts, that are just all these little just worry things. So, as I say, it's been an amazing week. It has been. It's also been very difficult. Lots of trudging through is the best way to say it. But if you're not on Caring Bridge, you may not be aware that the biggest thing happened this week. God gave us multiple thousands upon millions of fat, juicy, perky stem cells. Yes, he did. He did. So, last weekend on Sunday, I found out that I would be starting collection on Monday. And I was, just relieved to be moving forward, trying to collect again after 3 weeks or so behind schedule. But also, we were just not sure what God was going to do. And asking, hoping, thinking, I think he is doing this transplant. I feel like he was speaking to us about doing the transplant for us. So yes, I think somehow I'm going to get the stem cells. But we were so surprised the first time when I didn't get them that I want to be open to God's change of, not his change of plans, change of my plans. And so it was tough Sunday going into Monday. And but Sunday afternoon there were some huge storms in the area, and it left the most dazzling, brilliant, glorious sunset in clouds, just like flaming clouds. And Craig had gone to Kroger, and he came out of the Kroger, and so it was real open. In our neighborhood, we have a lot of trees. I actually went on a walk and saw some beautiful sunset glory. But Craig came out, and there was this massive, it was just like this whole rolling, it looked like moving, the shape of it, this massive flaming cloud with all this dark cloud under it and around it and all that. And he took a picture and sent it to our family. And Sarah said something like, "Is the fire in the cloud going before us?" And we really did feel like God was saying, "I am huge. I am glorious, glorious love, and I'm going to do this. Trust in me." So that was sweet and helpful, but doesn't mean I was all better forever. Are y'all all better forever when you get, you want to trust? The next morning, however, I found out that my number that is the marker for how stem cells are doing was 2. And they usually want it to be over 10 to have a good collection. So I was just lying in bed and knowing that the days are so long there, basically 6 hours in a bed, just waiting and listening to this machine chug, and it's taking your blood out. And according to densities or something, it keeps the stem cells and puts your blood back in. It's crazy. But I can get into a lot of mental battle while I just sit there. So anyway, I'll say this real quick, because if you read I told this story on Caring Bridge. On one side of me, I heard the nurse telling the man, "Your CD34 is, your stem cell marker is 84. We're going to get everything in this one day for you." And I just felt like, what is it? There's just me. It's me. I'm wrong or something. I think some yucky feelings, thoughts. And then on the other side of me, same thing. I heard the nurse go in there and say, very similar, "We're probably going to get your 5 million. So her doctor wanted 5 million. So anyway, I ended up telling the nurse, she didn't tell me anything. And so I said, "My number's really low." And she said, "That was yesterday, but your number today is 13. So you might get 1 million today." And I was just like, what? Because my doctor, who originally way back in May said, "I'd like to collect 8 million stem cells." And then along the way, he'd say, we can go less, but I like to collect more if we need it for down the road. And but when I only got 1 million in the first 4 days of round 1 collection, 1 million after 4 days, he said, "We can do it with 2 million. So he was willing to, forego the extras and make it work with 2. But when we got the call that afternoon that I had gotten truly 1.1 million stem cells all in one day, it was just so exciting. Oh my gosh. It was more relieving. It was one of the greatest reliefs I've ever felt. Just, just like, finally. And yes, it is going to happen. God is bringing us to transplant. So, and then the next day I collected another 1 point something million, and then the next day 2 more million, and then the next day 2 more million. So Dr. Vance almost got his 8 million. I got 7.8 million. So what I didn't say that I said in the thing is, I just cried out to God in that bed and just like, "You are the God of abundance. You are the God of who multiplies bread and fish. You have to do this. I can't do anything. You alone can do this. Please multiply my stem cells. And we had prayed that kind of thing in the first round, and it didn't go well. And these are mysterious things. It's not simple. God's timing, He has a time for things. But you don't know on this side of it whether it's going to happen. And that is very challenging. And I'm sure God knows how challenging it is and cares and has empathy. Jesus suffered every kind of temptation. So the not knowing and, praying and not getting it, and then there's a yes in response. It's all mysterious and difficult and forming. That is my hope, a sure hope that God is weaving, forming, creating Craig, me, our daughters, all of our family, and hopefully, even you, as you have allowed your heart to be affected by what's happening with us and investing yourself in it through prayer. Oh, I know. It's a sure hope that God is forming something beautiful and deep in us. It doesn't make it feel good. I mean, I'm so relieved about and happy about the transplant being able to go forward. But I still am angsty and, kind of struggling and just, then it's intimidating. I mean, when we first got here, collection was going to be the easy part. And when getting into the hospital was going to be the challenging part. And so, it's like, oh boy, now I get to go face the really hard stuff. So anyway, the Christian life is not meant to be the American dream. I have that so in me. The American dream is heaven. I mean, I don't know. Parts of the American dream are stupid, but the good parts we will be able to see one day. And I think suffering does produce more hope in the new age to come, the Narnia, where everything is so vivid and true and real that it's just, yes, finally, we're not living in this sort of illusory world, just what's happening. But the week still was good though. I had a few days off between collection and tomorrow, Tuesday, when I'll be admitted to the hospital. And in those days, Craig and I were able to go. We tried to get out. I had been literally in the walls of that hospital, not in a hospital room, but there's all these units, the collection unit, and then the transfusion unit, and labs, and all these different offices where you go and you wait and wait and wait and wait. I've never waited so much in my whole entire life. And then the things they do, you just sit and wait for too. Anyway, I mean, you just sit and it's waiting. You don't hurt. Praise God. That is a blessing. But anyway, so we had been in the walls of this hospital for 4 days straight. And so we went to get out and find some beauty. So we went to the Dallas Cathedral one afternoon when we didn't have a lot of time. And that was one thing we could do kind of quickly. So sorry, I just remembered we never made it to the Museum of Art. Shoot. Anyway. And it was just beautiful. There was a colored statue of the Pieta where Mary's holding Jesus, and it was just so beautiful. And there's beautiful, kind of brightly colored stained glass around the very, very high ceilings, and it was really beautiful. And then we went to the Dallas Arboretum, which was gorgeous, like a huge, huge property, and so laid out so beautifully. And there was this huge, pumpkin patch thing that was really fun. Craig wheeled me around so that we could do the whole thing, and that was just wonderful. And then, let's see. Oh gosh, yes. I wanted to tell you one more thing. During collection, on I think my third day, maybe, I'm just feeling challenged being there and just all that time to sit. And so we had set up downloaded versions, in case the internet wasn't good, of Chip and Joanna's Castle Makeover. And they just make me feel happy. They help me to feel like there is purpose in life. They honor things and they make beauty. And so I was watching them and I got a text that was a text from Chip and Joanna. So our good friend, the ones who have been in this house many times in the past because their friends owned this house, the miracle of us finding a house in Dallas that ended up being the Masons' childhood friends' house as grown-ups. and they had spent lots of time here with their family. And anyway, well, our friend, I'm not trying to not say whole names on this thing. He is good friends with Chip. And so he happened to be telling Chip about our situation. And this was that morning while I was watching it. They were texting. And Chip said, "Tell her we're all thinking about her this morning." And he said something really sweet like, "We know God is with them." And they took a selfie of them working at their Magnolia place. It was Chip and Joanna and a bunch of their people. And it was just really sweet. It all, is like our lover, the lover of our souls. I mean, dipping down right into our reality. He's not making it hard. I just wish he could help my brain, like flip a switch that it could just rest. And I'm asking him for that. I'm asking for a fresh filling of the Holy Spirit that would be kind of miraculous, because I think my brain has always kind of struggled. But when you're busy with regular life, it's okay. It's very manageable. But when you have this kind of thing going on, it's a real push with it. So I'm asking for a fresh filling of the Spirit to rinse my mind and give me restful, peaceful, joyful thoughts. So The word we kept saying this week is abundance. God is a God of abundance. He's not stingy. He's not stingy. So when things don't go the way we would hope, or when things are taken from us, we know that God is still the same. He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. He will always be a God of abundance and of abundant love. Goodness and mercy pursue us all the days of our lives, which means God is pursuing us with mercy and grace. And He is forming something in us and in those around us through the suffering. And we're sharing in the sufferings of Christ. And these sufferings are not worthy to be compared to the glory that will be revealed. I don't have my Bible in front of me, but did I start writing it down? No, in my computer. Suffering produces, this is Romans 5, 1 through 5. Suffering produces endurance, produces perseverance, produces character, produces hope, is like the final thing it says. And so I am just trusting God that He is forming these deep, deep, important things in us. Okay, I think I'm just going to tell you about where we go from here. And so here is my calendar, okay? My new adjusted transplant calendar. I'm going to hold it up, and if you want, you can take a picture of the screen. Pause, take a picture of the screen, and then you can know what's happening each day. This is how high-tech I am. Maybe I could upload it to YouTube. I tried on Caring Bridge already, and I couldn't figure it out. Here we go. You ready? Let's see. Do I have it all in there? Wait. There we go. See there? So tomorrow is the 3rd, and I get admitted into the hospital probably late in the day, around 5. I have all those other appointments first, and then I begin chemo the very next day. And this will be a bit of high-powered chemo for 5 days. And then the 6th day, though, is the most high-powered, high-dosage chemo. That is the one that actually causes most of the side effects. So you see that's next Monday. During the procedure, I have to eat ice the whole time. I have to eat ice 30 minutes before I do the chemo. For the hour it's infused, and then for 30 minutes after. So pray that my mouth just won't be too miserable, that I can just keep eating it, because it helps you not get mouth sores, which I tend to get when I have chemo. After that chemo day, next Monday, or this coming Monday, today's Monday. So in a week, I'll have that chemo, and then a rest day. And then, did you notice the little party signs? On the 11th, Transplant Day. transplant day. So what that means is it's a 1-hour infusion of the stem cells they collected. They put them back into my body. And so it's kind of anticlimactic. My friend who had it done said they gave her Benadryl and she slept through most of it. And, but something hidden and miraculous is taking place. And my son-in-law's cousin who had this done 10 years ago said that she considers that her oh shoot, is it her birthday, her new birthday, her new birth day. And she is a Christian and considers a spiritual new birth at a time, but this is so important to her. The transplant day is the day they count as transplant. You know, all this other stuff that's been happening is to lead up to it. But on the 11th, Wednesday the 11th, I hope you'll be celebrating with me. Hannah is going to come. Sarah can't come back because she has a big family and they need help over there. And so Hannah is coming back and she'll be here for transplant day. And that's going to be great. And then they count that as day 0. So it's like new birth, 0. And then for your new immune system. Because, you know, all that chemo is getting rid of my old immune system that is causing all the troubles. And transplant day, they'll put them back in, and then I'll be basically under observation, getting platelets and blood transfusions and all the things I need that chemo causes, you know, you to lose. They'll just be taking care of that. It'll just be like, it's just routine. And they'll be watching for my blood counts to go up. And I believe my friend who had this done, her counts came back up on day 10. So it can be a waiting period where you're waiting for your white blood count to go back up. And you feel really bad during this time. So I'm just asking for God's mercy to mitigate in every way He would choose to protect me from the side effects of the chemo, and especially anything permanent. Yeah, temporary is bad enough, but anything permanent. So if y'all would join me in asking our dear, kind Father for that would be fantastic. Am I so dark? Anyway, didn't notice. So I think that's it. In a card from a friend, she quoted our friend David, who preached in our church, because people are preaching for Craig while he's out. Have I mentioned that? How our church has loved us so well. They've allowed Craig to be with me. And it just continues to be extended, and they're so full of grace, and they're filling the pulpit. And so David preached, and one of my friends quoted it to me in a card. Exodus 14:14, the Lord will fight for you. You need only be still. So I hope that I can do that. So I can be still in spirit and hear Craig's footsteps. He was working out. There should always be an appearance from Craig. Craig continues to be, salt of the earth and a strength and a support that is so hard to overestimate. My best friend. Okay. But let's end on the Lord will fight for you. You need only be still. Okay, we'll be in touch.